Hey everyone, this is Kyle and I welcome you to the Art of Physical Fitness show again. Today I have an incredible interview with Justin White. Justin, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Justin White. I'm a recent college grad. I born and raised in New York, work in New York. Definitely a fitness enthusiast, but also want to caveat that with like just a regular guy trying to stay in shape for the rest of his life. I
Right?
mean, we'll get into more of why and everything, but I'm just somebody who gets up and fights every morning.
There you go. So,
Yeah.
what is your background as far as helping people and yourself in training?
hmm
Um, okay.
So I guess it all started when I was like 10 or 11. I played 4 or 5 sports, narrowed it down to tennis and basketball by the time I was like 13. Got into fitness training through my dad, who's just a workout freak to this day. Like he's 62 and
Right?
he's below 10% body fat. He's a beast. Like I've seen him rep out 90, 100 push-ups like just a couple years ago. Like so he's
Yeah,
he's most of the reason I
that's
got into it.
awesome.
But started taking care of like my body and stuff like that when I was probably 13 or 14. I noticed that it helped in sports get a lot faster. You fix your wind and things like that. So played throughout high school. Didn't play on any varsity teams in college, but definitely have a ton of stories there that, like I said, which we'll get into. Which goes into like at one point I tried to walk on the football team and I got really strong, and then I injured myself, and things changed, and I got into distance running. So I've definitely had a long sort of fitness life, just especially for a regular dude.
Right.
Uh, and I and
So,
I and I have a lot to say about it.
so what are you currently? What's your training like right now?
My training right now, I would say the last 2 years I've been a lot of distance, but trying to sort of balance it out with enough weight training. Because when I
Mhm.
got out of school, I was a pretty serious distance runner, doing a lot of half marathons and things like that. And urban athlons here and like whatever fun races I could do with my friends. But I noticed that throughout college and when I got into distance running, I lost a lot of my like my fast switch that I had in high
Right.
school. So I always say that I thought I was so strong when I lost about 20 pounds and was running 15, 17 miles in college. But then I started being like, wait a minute, I'm getting slower. My strength and my power are decreasing.
Hmm.
So I started to balance out. And I had a coach in high school that said if you want both, you got to train both. So essentially, you can't just sit there and be a runner and be super strong unless you're, doing squats and all that, doing power, doing speed,
Right.
and vice versa. So when I was a sophomore, um, I got pretty big and I got pretty strong, but I broke my foot and I got really slow. So I said, oh, let me get my cardio back, get into distance running, and I fell in love with it. It started to be my passion and my favorite thing about every day. But like I said, I got really light and I got really lean, but I was fast and I was a lot weaker. So
Yeah.
now what I try to do is balance all of that. So on Monday I'll train, I'll train heavy. So I'll lift heavy and I'll run sprints or something like that. And then on Tuesday I'll run distance, and on Wednesday I'll do interval training. I try to really switch it up, and I read about stuff online and watch exercise videos like almost every day, and just try to do new stuff every day. I'm not the type to walk around with a pen and paper. Like I'll memorize a workout, in a minute or so, and then do it, and then not stick to it the next day. So I mean, I'm not the kind of guy who goes in there just writing with the little the little wooden pen and all that. I try to do different stuff every day, and because without, like I said, without balance, you always lose something, especially as you age a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, you said long distance? Are you preparing for any marathons? Do you run marathons, or is it just kind of like a recreational thing for you?
Last half marathon I ran was earlier this year.
Hmm.
I was gonna sign up for the full this year, actually through my job, because my job had some spots, but my knees are not they're not holding up to it right now. I've had a lot of problems with my right knee since I was a kid. I always say my knees are 20 years older than I am. So I decided not to run the full this year, but I am gonna run a full at some point in my life, even if I have to hobble through the last half.
Right.
But
Now you live in New York, so are you running around there, or have you run elsewhere around the country?
New York and Boston, and I'm a consultant, so I was staffed in LA and Newport Beach last year. So I actually, for about 3 months, during the weekdays, I would get up at 6 a.m. and go on these amazing runs, in little places in Southern California that I Googled or whatever. So I like, I like
Right.
California. The running's better out there than it is here. But I mean, I've been running in New York, in Manhattan, for like a decade now. So down the West Side Highway, the East River Path, making up routes through the middle of the street sometimes. So yeah,
Are you born and raised from New York?
yeah, I'm born and raised
Okay. Yeah.
New York.
All right. So kind of a transition. What I want to get into was, now you said you've been training for a while. Now
Yeah,
during that time, that's a lot of time to fail a lot and learn a lot of lessons.
yeah.
What at point? I know there's been a lot for me, but talk about some turning points you've had in your training where it kind of just changed your perspective on how things had to be and how you need to adapt going further.
Yeah, I spoke about it a little bit before, but it was really when I was running half marathons, every mile sub 7,
Right.
like, which is fast for, just once again, regular dude.
Hmm.
I'm not like a serious
Yeah, that's the
athlete.
best I've ever done. Is like, and that was in like sixth grade.
Yeah. I call it that I'm a regular dude who takes it seriously.
There
But
you go.
anyway, when I was running really fast, I was sitting there like, man, I'm getting good at this, and I just kind of focused on the running thing. I would do a couple push-ups, couple pull-ups, and I lost body mass, I lost strength, I couldn't squat a thing. I lost vertical leap, and I was just like, after about a year, I looked up and I was good at running, but I was just not focusing on everything else. So that plus chronic knee problems had me have to take care of myself a little bit better.
Yeah.
On top of that, I am not a good stretcher, so I am just getting into stretching as an adult,
Right.
a few years out of college.
Yeah, it's amazing what age will make us do. Will make us decide what to do. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I like that you were talking about before how your training style, you do have a heavy day and then you have your running day and interval day and you mix it up like that.
Yeah,
And I mean that's an awesome way to train. And the fact that a lot of people, they pigeonhole themselves. I've been there myself, pigeonhole myself into like I'm only in the weight room and that's what I do. I head to the weight room and I lift that way. And I mean that leads to physical breakdown, but also mental breakdown as well. And so
well, let's be
I
real. Guys are size obsessed, right?
exactly, yeah.
So you get in, and you want to get big. You want to hit the bench. If you're smart, you'll hit the squats and the cleans and things like that. But most
Yeah.
guys want to come in, bench, buys, tries, shoulders, no cardio. I mean, you always see the dude with like a big old gut who's in there lifting when he needs to be, I don't know, touching his toes and something else. But
Right.
the point is, like, I mean, it takes a while to get over that and get past that. And I think that what did it for me was like when I was at my biggest, when I was like almost, I was like, I don't know, 192 pounds, and I'm 5'10", so that when I was solid, it like I had a lot of body mass and things like that. But when I started to lose body fat is when I started to actually look big. So when I was lighter, maybe 20 pounds lighter, is when I looked big,
Right.
because when you have that balance and things like that, it's a lot different of a look. So I think that if people were a little bit more balanced and more just looking at what they see on TV and in magazines, I think it would do everybody some good to understand that difference.
Right. So when you kind of going off of training as far as your own personal training, but more into your writing that you've done with greatest.com.
Hmm.
Um, talk about some of the articles. I know there was one, I mean, a lot of I read over there, you had a couple that were dealing with training like recovery and
Yeah,
supersets and things like that. But then I
yeah,
was also seeing another one, uh, can't remember the title of it, but it was dealing with basically wanting to be a part of the in crowd and missing like depression as far as not being a part of the with the social media making a lot of people. If you remember that article, you know which one
hmm,
I'm talking
hmm,
about.
yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
Writing for them, I mean, they're a great website. They're growing super huge. Greatest.com is definitely something everybody should check out. A friend from school started it, and I just wrote for them because their whole brand is about appealing to folks like us who are just out there
Yeah,
uh, trying to fight and stay fit for the rest of their life. And that's something that I'm passionate about, probably most passionate about uh, on a day-to-day basis. So I write random stuff for them that I think is interesting to me, I'll claim a topic or pitch a topic or something like that.
Right. Yeah, that's what I love about that website. How it's not that singular focus. It has talking about training, but there's also stuff about mental health and motivation and things like that, as opposed to just all about how to lose fat or how to lose. It goes a little bit more into the complete developing the complete picture for fitness and health. And I
Exactly,
love that about that.
and that's how it has to be. That's how it has to be looked at. Once again, I think one of the themes of our conversation is people getting pigeonholed, right? Is paying too
Right.
much attention to one thing, and I think that that has it has so much weight when you're not realizing you're there. Um, one example I always try to use is like you never see any dudes in like the exercise classes and gyms, right?
Right.
You always see a bunch of women from this age to that age, and you see one dude in the back. I'm like, I go to those classes because when I was 16, my dad used to take me to his local gym. He would go in the classes, and I would make fun of him.
Right.
And he was, "I'll come in with me one time." And I came in with him to some class that was called, one of those names like summer, spring, festive jump. I don't know. And he was like, I got murdered, right? Like I
Yeah.
couldn't keep up at all, and it's because people don't have that balance about everything.
Right.
And there's a bunch of social dynamics in the gym that people stick to as well. But now you'll catch me in some classes with a bunch of women.
What are you doing now? What type of classes are you in?
I'll do cycling. I'll do like an interval training class. I do one class that they have at my job, which is like it's like all leg intensive. It's like squat jumps and a lot of ab work, but it's like basically basketball training. Like you're
Hmm.
basically running suicides, doing jumps, getting down on the ground, doing burpees. It's called high intensity cardio.
Yeah.
It's probably the toughest group class I've ever taken in my life, but it's cool.
Now, besides running and doing those things in the gym, do you do like anything else? Like for me, I'm just starting getting into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but do you still play basketball outside? Do you do anything like that as far as people
Yes,
don't
this
think of it
summer
as, go ahead.
Yes, this summer when I want to do a speed day, I have a basketball court a block from my house, so I'll actually grab my basketball, and I will. There's nobody. It's like at a school, and there's nobody there at 7 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
uh, and I'll do layup drills. I'll do full court layup drills until I'm dead tired, and then I'll go to the side and I'll jump up to the back of the backboard, do some pull-ups, do some push-ups, and I just shoot. Right, like that. A
Yeah.
great way to get yourself to jump as high as you can is just to shoot threes, and like I'm definitely, like I said, I don't have as much power as I did 6 years ago in high school. I don't have. Uh, Sometimes I don't even play with anybody, right? Like sometimes there's literally nobody there, and I just look kind of crazy, and people are walking down the street, uh, watching some kid run back and forth and do layups as fast as he can. But like,
Right.
it's a great way to train yourself, right? And that's a good balance for doing sprint work on the treadmill, right?
Yeah.
Getting the treadmill uh, way up high and jumping on 30 seconds and then lifting yourself off 30 seconds. Like that's cool too, but still play basketball. Tennis was my biggest sport in high school. I played for 11 years and I traveled all the time. And I actually am, it's hard to play in Manhattan.
Yeah.
So I have
J-
not played, I have not played in a couple months, but I was keeping it up. I actually played a fair amount last year, but it's not easy to play unless you want to devote 4 or 5 hours to going up there, waiting for a court. Plus, you got to buy a permit. So,
Right.
if I ever don't live in the city, I'll get back to it. But
When you were playing tennis back in high school and whatnot and traveling, did you ever head out to Cincinnati this way?
I never went to Cincinnati. No, I went
Uh,
to Chicago. I was in Cali. I was in Florida. I went to Cincinnati.
all right. All right. So what I so brief when you work out, I just want to kind of change the focus a little bit. What kind of music you like to listen to?
Uh, Hard rap and house music. That's it. Like my playlists are either or. Um,
Hard. What are some of the artists when you say hard rap?
Two Chains, Jeezy, Jay Z, old 50 Cent,
Yeah.
stuff from when I was a kid, uh, old Biggie, like stuff like that, Dre,
Yeah.
regular like old rap from whatever words I have never forgotten since 10
Yeah.
years ago. Plus, I listen to like a lot of the new stuff. Spotify kind of
Yeah.
ruined me because I stopped working on my music library like a couple years ago when I got busy, but I bought Spotify and now I'm like a little bit revived. And then on the other side, I listen to like house, electro stuff. So my playlist will literally just be either or, and it could be a rap song or a house electro song. But I'm one of those people that without the right music, it will mess up mess up my workout. Like the other day I was in the gym and I was feeling good, and then like just the wrong Drake song came on where he was like singing and stuff, and it just ruined one of my sets. Like I was in the
Right.
middle of the set and he was singing, I was like, I have to stop.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Especially like I'll listen a lot with just Pandora and stuff when I do have music on when I'm training, and you'll have a lot of good songs, and all of a sudden they'll mix some song in that has nothing to do with the top, like the music. It's nothing like any of the other stuff, and it's like
Exactly.
just messes you up mid set. So that, I mean, that's what sometimes I just go without music. I just train in the quiet, and I mean, because I train alone, I don't not in a normal gym setting. I own my own gym, and so I just sometimes I'll just train in the quiet like that.
I could not train without music. Like I don't think I've ever run a single mile without music. And I remember for the half marathon I ran in Boston, on the paper it was like you can't use music, and I was like,
Right.
everybody here is using music, so I just tucked the wire under my shirt. And I mean, I don't think anybody cared. I think half of the thousands of people there had music, but
That's weird. They wouldn't let you use music. It's not like it gives you a
I mean, it's pretty
performance advantage.
sometimes when my iPod dies when I'm running, I'll like hear myself and be like, "Oh wow, I'm out of breath."
Right.
I hate hearing myself run. Like it sounds sad. It sounds like I'm in pain. So
Right.
well, I will always listen to music, and I listen to loud music. Like I'm probably gonna go deaf. That's fine.
Then you'll have to learn how to train in the quiet then if you go deaf.
Yeah.
Uh, so another shift, bad segue, but what nutrition do you follow any type of diet or any specific thing? You just eat what you eat and
I just grew up eating pretty healthy. So I'm
mhm,
also a very picky eater. So my favorite food in the world is egg sandwiches.
right?
Um, I grew up eating a ton of fruit, so I love blueberries. To me, blueberries are like straight up a food everybody needs to eat once a day.
Yeah.
Um, I eat,
Frozen blueberries
eat
are awesome.
what?
Frozen blueberries. I just keep all my fruit in the freezer, all my
Oh,
strawberries and pineapples and stuff, and eat them like
yeah,
that. Oh,
I eat them
amazing.
frozen.
Yeah.
So I eat that. I eat nuts. I eat chicken. I hate pork. I hate seafood, actually.
Right there
Um,
with you. Can't stand it.
so if I go to a nice restaurant, I'll eat steak. But like really, all I really eat is chicken, eggs. I eat vegetables now. I didn't eat vegetables as a kid, but when I got to college, started eating vegetables. So I love like chicken and spinach. Like I'm pretty boring eater, to be honest. Like every day I wake up, one spoonful of peanut butter. That's what I eat on the way to the gym. It's good energy. It's quick energy. Sometimes I'll boil a week's worth of eggs at the beginning of the week. I
Yeah.
might pop an egg white and throw out the yolk. When I get to work, I'll eat, for lunch I'll have like chicken and salad, or I'll have chicken and rice, or I might have a grilled chicken sandwich or something like that. And then for dinner, it's the same thing. It's gonna be chicken and salad, chicken and rice, or grilled chicken sandwich. So I'm a pretty boring eater, and I'll do 1 to 2 scoops of a whey protein every day.
Hmm.
Not I use the really lean one, so I don't use the muscle milk and things like that, because like I don't
Yeah.
I like to have control. So I'll use what's the new one? The new one is ISO 100. I guess that's the one people use. But in college, I used this one called VP2,
Hmm.
low calorie. It's an isolate. It's high protein. I don't know if that stuff helps. I just feel like
Right.
if I'm working out, I should have a scoop or two every day. So I
Right.
still do that. I keep it at the office. But yeah, I'm a pretty boring eater, and I cheat, right? Like I eat. I always say you won't catch me buying dessert or buying ice cream or buying candy, but if you put it in front of me, it's gone, right?
Yeah.
So like if I go to a meeting or something and there's like a bowl of M&Ms, I'm gonna sit there and eat eight
Yeah.
handfuls of M&Ms and then have a stomach ache.
And the
But
thing with that, I mean, a lot of people are stressed out about that, and they think when especially people who've never ate healthy before, and it's not much of a habit for them,
yeah,
they think that it plugs them in. It's like that's not the case. You have to have foresight and knowing, like if you're going to be at an event with there's hanging out with friends or something, and there's going to be
yeah,
different foods, making changes right now in how you're eating, um, or just all about give and take and moderation of things. Where I mean, for me, my nutrition style is I don't know if you know much about intermittent fasting. Have you read much into that? Okay.
See how it
Well,
makes
the premise of intermittent fasting has to do with basically your hormone levels, and I can't follow it to the T every day. If you want to, it's a website you might want to write down, check it out if you wanted to. It's called
sense.
leangains.com, where a guy goes into it. Martin Brickham, or I think is his name. But basically, the premise is you fast for 16 hours, 8 of that being your sleep, and then you basically the real plan is you fast until noon and then eat from noon till 8. I mean, I kind of let it go with the flow of my life. I mean, I'm
Oh,
training athletes in the evening, so it's not easy for me to eat focused
yeah,
on my eating in the evening. But basically, when it comes down to it, is it allows you the flexibility to eat what you want at certain periods. You don't have to pigeonhole yourself into just eating brown rice and chicken and broccoli all the time. Even though that's not a bad, um, I don't find that bad at all. I eat that pretty much every day. Might just
yeah,
put in different spices and things on it. With all my earphones falling off now, but yeah, I mean, you got to be able to build the flexibility within your diet, and I think that's a big problem that people don't get, and they don't they don't think they can do. They think it's one way or the other, and it's the same way with what we're talking about with training. They think it's
yeah.
one style or nothing. It's like
I mean,
no, it's
the two like rules that I stick to that I've found do work because I've like messed around with diets since I was a kid because like people did it in my family and things like that. Like it's just like keep healthy stuff in your house, and if you encounter unhealthy stuff when you're not in your house, it's probably not that bad to eat it because it might
right.
not very often. But really, like, don't eat late. Like, if it's 10 p.m. and you didn't have a big dinner and you're hungry, like, I found like that if you just deal with it, it's probably better than eating something late because it's really about putting food in your stomach and then going to bed and sleeping on it. That's bad. And then I found that eating in the morning something small really helps. Like I've been doing this mostly out of necessity because I'm busy at work and stuff. But I've been doing this thing where I eat a spoonful of peanut butter every morning. That is like that holds me right over, and
Right.
it's a lot better than skipping breakfast. Like when I used to skip breakfast, probably in college, and when I first got out of college and started working, like I would feel all weak at the gym and stuff like that. But just a little 150, 200 calories or whatever it may be, I think it really helps. So sticking to that. And then like this new thing that I do is I like wait till I'm actually hungry
Yeah,
to eat, not like America hungry. Like, oh, my stomach could
it's been a
fit.
couple hours, so yeah,
One of the things I do is I go to lunch at like 2 o'clock.
right.
Go to lunch at noon, because people just eat at noon because like culturally and because they're kind of hungry or because they skip breakfast. But me, if you eat breakfast and you wake up, wait a while for lunch, eat dinner around 7:30, 8, and then don't touch food um, for the nighttime. I think that stuff is really, I think that's really important. So I eat lunch. I eat lunch late when I'm like really hungry because then if I order something bad, it's still gonna taste good because I'm hungry.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I'm right on with that. I mean, a lot of the stuff. I mean, did you ever follow like the eat every 2 hour, 3 hour rule?
Yeah, I tried that kind of stuff when I had more time on my hands, like over a summer when I was a little younger, over a summer, and I would like be at home and I could cook and put stuff in Tupperware. I haven't tried to eat every 2 hour rule and stuff like that now. I just keep little snacks at my desk.
Yeah, same thing.
So I try to snack and not overeat. And like I said, I cheat. Everybody cheats a little bit, but
Yeah,
it's
that
also yeah.
yeah, I used to do that 2 hour rule all the time when I thought I was a bodybuilder, back in the day. But that controls everything. It just became a hassle to do it. And like you're saying, I was the same way carrying Tupperware everywhere.
Yeah.
It gets a little awkward sometimes carrying Tupperware of like it was chicken, rice, and broccoli is pretty much the usual routine during that
Yeah.
time.
When
Um,
I was playing sports, I did that. I would have these like weird little sandwich bites wrapped in tinfoil. My mom would make me help them, and I would carry them in my Nike bag. And I had some weird stuff going on. Now I just kind of like try to eat healthy, not too big meals. Wait till I'm hungry. Don't eat late. Those are my rules.
right.
Yeah.
Now, a couple other things. One, since you said you're currently, I mean, you don't have a job in fitness, if you will. You work marketing. Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay. What? Since a lot of people who watch this show are similar to you, where they have a job like you're describing,
hmm
how is your schedule of a day? What's a day like for you?
Yeah. So
How
I'm
does it
really
work?
lucky. I have a gym in my building, in my office building.
Okay.
That makes me lucky. There are people all over the country, right? So some people have to drive to the gym. Some people have huge gyms where in the cities where they live or in the places that they live. Me, it's like uh, when you're living in New York, it's either you have a gym near your apartment or you have a gym near your job. And
Hmm.
other than that, you basically have to have a strong will to make it to the gym. So I always suggest like be near one of those. But me, I get up at 6:45, 7 on a good day if I don't oversleep. I try to get to work by 7:30, 7:45. And in the gym, what I'll do is 45 cardio, 45 lift.
Hmm.
Um, so that 45 cardio, if I'm doing a speed day, it'll be shortened because I'll run a fast mile and then sprints or something like that. If I'm doing a distance day, I might up it a little bit and just run straight for an hour, or I do stuff like jump rope, like
Hmm.
I might jump rope for 35 minutes,
Yeah.
something like that, and then I'll lift uh, till it's time to go upstairs and go to work. And at my last job, I did not have a gym there, but I had a gym like 5, 6 blocks from there. So I used to get up in the morning, dress in my Under Armour, put my entire work clothes in my bag. Like I would pre-iron them and hope they didn't get that wrinkly, and run 3 miles to work with this big 15-pound bag on my back.
Right.
And when I got to the gym, I would just lift because I already did my cardio, and I might do a little more speed work or something like that.
Yeah.
Those are the more motivated days. Now I'm like, I'm like 5 miles from work. I'm not gonna run all the way there. Cold. So, but my normal day is that. Days when I sleep too late, I'll go after work. And I don't know how everybody works, but I both lift and run better on like an almost empty stomach.
Hmm.
So I'll eat something tiny,
Right.
just just so that there's something in there, even if it's one bite of something. And if I'm lifting after work or running after work or whatever, I'll eat something tiny, and do the whole hour and a half there, and then go to bed, and or go home and cook a couple pieces of chicken and something like that. But I either go in the morning or at night, and I don't take any. I'm not a person who like schedules a day off from the gym, because every week something's gonna come up where I have to take a day off.
Hmm.
So I figure like if I'm like, oh, I'll never go Sundays, then like I'll probably never go 3 days a week. But if my personal rule for myself is like, if I have time to go, go. And rarely do I ever go 7 days a week. Like, I don't know. I think it happened once this month where I actually did go 7 days in a week, but obviously I was doing different stuff, and
Hmm.
I don't know the days were that intense. But I feel like if you plan to go every time you have time, then you're gonna go 4 or 5 times if you enjoy it. So
Yeah. So
that's my
that
that's how it meshes with my life.
awesome.
It was different in college. College was a little different. I just was there like 3 hours
Yeah.
a day.
Y- Two classes, like 3 hours of your day, and then you got
Yeah,
16 hours to do whatever you want.
I missed that very badly.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Harvard.
Harvard. Nice. When you studied at Harvard, what? Marketing?
No, I was actually an anthropology major there.
Anthropology. What got you into anthropology?
I found it interesting, and
Yeah.
I have to be interested in something to work at
Are
it.
you, with your current job, are you doing anything with that?
It's all kind of interrelated, right? Consumer reports. You're trying to understand the consumer uh, in different cultures and across
Right.
the world. So yeah. I think all the qualitative stuff is very related. Absolutely.
Speaking of different cultures across the world, I know you told me the other day when we were talking via email that you're heading out of the country here soon. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm probably going for a project. I'm probably going for a project in Kenya in the next 2 months. But I don't trust anything until
Right.
it actually happens. That's pricey. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll actually happen. But I have been fortunate enough to do some heavy traveling in the last few years.
Oh yeah, we're too.
I've been to Hong Kong. I've been to Dubai. I've been all over Europe. I was in Brazil like 3 months ago for a week. So I've gotten to see some stuff.
That's awesome. Now, do you this is kind of going off of that?
Mhm.
When have you learned any different training thing when you go there? Have you explored out? Are you just train in a hotel that you're at, or
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I always train in the hotel where I am.
yeah,
Let's see, when I was in Greece, I was doing some like real serious hill training. That's when I got into like just find a 100-yard hill and run up as fast as you can, and then
yeah,
jump back down and stuff like that. Um, I haven't encountered any new like. I wasn't really looking for it. Like when I was traveling, I wasn't really looking for any new like training methods or anything like that.
yeah,
that are used abroad. But I definitely have gone on runs and gotten workouts while I was traveling and stuff like that. Like I did the same thing in Brazil. They have a nice. I was in Sao Paulo. They have this big, beautiful park, and just doing regular training out there and seeing what people do.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would love to do that one day. Just travel and go out and just experience other people's views on training, but even more so than that, just actually training in different environments. It's all about, and just keeps. I mean, like we were talking about, it's all about keeping the mind motivated. A lot of people, because they get in that routine and they don't keep things in their training and make it a priority, have things in their training that keep them engaged mentally as opposed to equally physically. So
we're a fat, bulky country.
We are a fat, bulky country. That is
for obvious reasons. But everywhere I traveled, people are slimmer. The portions are smaller. Gyms are different. Sometimes the gyms are scarce. So you definitely notice that you don't see as many meatheads out there for no reason.
Right. But I'm not sure how well you can answer this, but as a general public, do they seem to, or just they don't need to go to the gym so much where their lives are already pretty physically active? They're doing a lot of biking to get from point A to point B, or walking, and
depends where you are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know the best answer to that. I think that it's not so entrenched in their culture.
Right.
Like I said, I think the problems might be different. I think there's a million factors, right? How much does the country or city, how much of them are smokers? Like,
right.
Is it biking and cycling centric and all that? So I think that it's extremely dependent on where you are.
Mm-hmm. Outstanding. Well, that's all the questions I had for you that I want to talk about in this interview. So,
absolutely.
Before we sign out, we're gonna talk about Greatest. You write for them. You want me to? I'll put a link for them below this video on the site when I get it all made up and everything to head to Greatest. And is there any other place that you like to pub or anything like that as far as yourself or?
That's it.
Now, where can they find more about you besides just Greatest?
My Twitter, my Greatest profile,
What's your Twitter handle?
It's at Justin and then YTE, so JUSTIN, the letter Y, TE. All
right, good. I'll put
trying to still be in shape in 40, 50 years. That's my goal.
Yep, and that's the goal I'm trying to do with the show and this the Art of Physical Fitness. So once again, thanks for coming on. And tell everyone else, until next time, I thank you for stopping by the Art of Physical Fitness show, and I will talk to you next time.